That's why I don't get how these basketball niggas be like basketball Trump.
But what makes you not be a fan of a certain team no more? Like, I get your case with the Dolphins.
I don't know. Like, I went from a Dolphins fan, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go somewhere. I'm going home. I'm going to the Saints. I'm gonna be a Saints fan. Yeah, but I just don't care whether they win or lose. So that tells me I'm not really a fan.
Right.
Like, I don't be giving a shit.
For me, for professional sports, I always been a personnel person. Yeah. So personnel change. I was rocking with the Eagles for a long time, but with my last straw, and I was still with them for a minute because of Deshaun Jackson them. But they got rid of all of them, but Macklin, Deshaun Jackson, McCoy, and then they hired Chip Kelly. I was like, oh hell no, I couldn't go from Andy Reid to Chip Kelly. I knew that shit, and I couldn't. And them boys won a Super Bowl 3 years later. Got 4 years out. 4 years later.
So am I a true Saints fan, Todd? If I say I'm a Saints fan, but I don't really give a shit if they win or lose. No. Like, it don't affect me in any way.
That's not a fan.
No. Do you get affected if LSU lose?
Yeah, that shit be hurting my heart. Like, so I don't know. It's been a long time since I felt that. So then you
just like me, man, and it sucks sometimes when you don't have a professional team.
Gotcha. But Todd, it's been a long time since I felt that feeling of my team losing. I mean, I don't know, but I would think it would hurt. You know what I'm saying? How does that feel to be a Florida fan, to be losing to people like us?
Well, you just beat me for the first time in a couple of years. So, I mean, every dog has his day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
You won a national championship. Congratulations.
There's a funny looking person, though.
That's why I say, man, he got to take that picture down, man. Hey, what's the phone screen out there?
Leave it there, because can't get right say we need something funny to talk about. So once we need something, man.
No, because I can't be in the middle of some serious.
That's true.
And then they don't know what I'm laughing at.
I think you can control it though. Like, but once you
get one thing we know, Dez ain't gonna put that motherfucker up there when it's time to get being rolled.
Hell no, leave it there for our pleasure. Sport. That's our pleasure.
Yeah, that nigga not a good sport. Here we go. You're tuning in to the Dummies Podcast. I'm Stock.
I'm Joe.
I'm Todd.
I'm Hootie and Dez elf ear ass.
And we back like we never left, because like we said every week, we never leave. It's episode 84. It's Sunday, what is it? Sunday, May 31st. Another month, man, that went past, man. And we still zooming, as you can see and hear. We're going to still do this for a little bit longer, man. It's almost time for us to make our grand appearance. I got some ideas, too, I want to talk to you about. We'll talk about that off air. As always, thank you for the people who are on the front lines, man, doing what they do still, going through the pandemic, man. A lot of people are opening back up, and that's good, but be safe, man. Everybody, don't let your guard down, because we are still seeing people are still catching it on a daily basis. Crazy ass week. And we'll definitely get into that. But where you at, Hoop?
Been a regular week, man. Not really regular as far as my duties and what I've been doing. But as far as the activities, and like you said, we're gonna get into it. But as far as the activities, not necessarily activities, but just the things that's going on in the world, kind of affected me a little bit different. So it's kind of been a down week at times. It's been a fuck that shit week at times. It's been a try to make yourself happy week at times. So it's been just a busy week.
A collection of shit.
A busy week mentally, sort of say.
Yeah.
But that's really that really filled up our week. That's what we were full of all of this week. That's what we discussed. That's what we talked about. And it went from different stages. But it was a mentally challenging week, I'd say. I actually sat outside. My neighbor, this nigga keep making a podcast. I sat outside. I was cutting grass yesterday. And I just sat outside and talked to my neighbor, man. We just talked just about where you are mentally, and, you know what I'm saying, just going forward and moving forward. And he actually brought up some shit we talked about before, like going to counseling and shit. Like,
let me find out you and your neighbor trying to make another podcast.
we just might, you know what I'm saying? The Calera
boys. Neighbors, goddamn.
The Calera boys. We might do some shit. You know what I'm saying? But we just talk, man. And that shit just, you know what I'm saying, just let you know what we are going through and where niggas stand mentally right now, man. And it was kind of refreshing, you know what I'm saying? It was like,
well, make sure you know, when we get into it, you bring that back where you at mentally. You know what I mean? Because we definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah, but it was cool. How about who I switched to? Todd, how was your week, Todd? I've been forgetting since we were sitting beside each other. Goddamn.
Well, another fast week went by. We did some enlightening stuff yesterday. Something to kind of lift our spirits because I'm pretty much like you, man. It's like I'm exhausted with all this stuff that's going on. You can't be numb to it at this point. I only feel anger at this point. But we went to a drive-through zoo yesterday. Fed the little animals like the emus and
They bit your
the
knuckles.
water buffalo and.
Boy,
it was just
y'all had them little thingy things with the little long horns. I thought that nigga, man, them nigga did like that would have broke all your damn glass.
I'm telling you, boy. And they was on the car. Like they was really like in your space. It wasn't a bull. It was something. They had some horns on it, boy. So, took Taylor to that. She thoroughly enjoyed it. And we actually enjoyed it too to see, the joy on her face. But, that little temporary fix, you leave and it's right back to the reality of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's about it. You know what I'm saying? What about you, Joe?
Same week. But anger, emotions for the first time in different ways. But really because trying not to argue on Facebook with stupid people.
Did you pass?
I think I did a good job. I think I did a pretty good job.
So did you argue or not?
No, I don't think I argued with anyone. I didn't. And then my posts, I had to delete my posts a lot or redo a lot of my posts.
Why?
Because I didn't want to argue with people. So
you starting to care?
I just think it's not going to change anything. Like if you feel so different than I feel, I don't think one Facebook conversation is going to change. So how either one of us feel about it.
So you starting to care?
It's just pointless.
So you starting to care?
Who
just what people say and what how they respond to the stuff you say.
No, that's even more reason for me not to argue with them if I don't care what they say.
Or you could just say
I'm not going to change. So what's the purpose to argue with them?
I think you change because normal Kangaroo would just say what he want to say and not care about what anybody's response would be. So that's why I asked that question of, are you changing? Which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, though, fool. It's okay to filter yourself.
Can I finish my week? Damn, I'm just on Tuesday.
You can, man. I just want to, I like to have input in people's week and, therapize you. That's a word? That's a word?
You need to talk to your neighbor.
Therapize you. That's the title, motherfucker. Therapize you. We got to figure out how to spell it, but there you go right there. You talk about therapize.
Put a Z in it, there.
Therapize you. He ain't gonna remember. I'm gonna have to go.
My bad. Go ahead, Kangaroo.
But nah, they said every time you turn on the news, something different is happening. After watching the video of my man George and all of that, and just seeing the what was it? All the protests and how violent they got, and I had to look at it different. I was like, damn, they're supposed to protest downtown here Saturday. And what if that shit get, like that? And I stay here. So you got to think of it a different way. So, I went to academy and, make sure everything was cool. And, but I had a release too, yesterday. Had my friends over, Shundi and Keita, by my mother-in-law pool. We kicked it. Like Ty was saying, I was away from the group chat. I was away from my phone. So just playing music, chilling. And that was my little release for the week. How about you, Stop?
Cool. Like Hoot said, it was a normal week in the sense of what I have to do. But definitely was nothing normal about the week as far as what was going on. And it was just hard to pull yourself away from that, I'm still working on house stuff, man. Every day something new coming in here, I got out in the yard the last couple of days and I've been painting furniture and stuff. And one thing about what you just said, Can't Get Right, while I was painting for about 2 hours, my phone was in my pocket and I was outside. So I didn't see no TV. I didn't read no Instagram posts, no text messages. And it was actually something kind of, I even said, because Baron had stopped by. He was in the neighborhood, so he had stopped by. We stood outside and we was all talking, me, him, and Trina and the girl. And we was just saying how, I was like, damn, I kind of don't want to go in the house because I know when I go in the house, I'm going to cut on the TV. And it was about 8 o'clock, so you already know by 8 o'clock, the motherfucker's going to be, something going to be towed up. So, it was kind of hard to get away from it. I was away for a while and that was enjoying, but I had to get back to it. So All in all, man, it was a tough week, man. Tough week.
Right.
Nigga can't even talk about it without thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's hard to transition into that.
It is.
But let me ask you this though, before we even go into it, with everything going on in the
go ahead, Todd. Do your thing.
But has your interactions changed, like with your neighbors? I mean, from where you guys live at and where we live, we have white neighbors. Like, has your interactions changed at all, or do they kind of be extra friendly, or you know what I'm saying, just to make sure that you know that they are not those individuals like that, or like how's your interaction? Because I can say for us, our neighbors, we talk to them daily, so they actually came over, and she was actually crying because what was going on. You know what I'm saying? So, and they came over again last night. So it's almost like, okay, we got it. We understand. We don't put you in that category. So, how do
you let them in?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. They live right across the street. We literally talk to them daily. You know what I mean? And if it's something small, we, or if it's hey and bye, you know what I'm saying? It's whatever. But last night they actually came over, had a drink, and we just talked. So, like, how's the climate between you and your neighbors?
Well, for me, my neighbors, like, it's always love, and it's always been, even before any of this. You know what I'm saying? And today I was outside painting, and he walked up and asked me what I was doing. You know what I mean? And then he was like, "Oh, da 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 da." I told him, I did something wrong. He was like, "Oh, He went and got all kind of gadgets and contraptions to help me fix it. Hey, let me know. Hey, let me see it when you get through. I come over, and if you need help, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how all my neighbors have always been. And even when the ones walking down the street, they have always been kind of nice and friendly for the most part in this community. But I don't know, man.
I got a question about that. I hadn't really had any interaction with my neighbors since that has happened. I haven't really seen them. As far as just like I went to Lowe's yesterday, and in there, just walking past, sort of say white people, they greeted the same, they looked the same. It was really no different as from what it normally is. But a question about that: do you prefer that your neighbor come to you and talk to you about that, or just keep it like it's regular? Like, hey man, how you do? Just keep it cordial like it normally is.
Well, some be, with damage control, you know what I mean? And they just want to make sure that that they're not racist or whatever. And that may be their personality. It just depends on the person. For me, you didn't have to do that, you know what I mean? And when they did it, because we sat down and we've actually had drinks before, it's just, that's just what it is. Like, I didn't take anything away from last night saying that, okay, this is a little bit extra, you know what I'm saying? I just felt like it was genuine, just like it's always been genuine. Nothing was out of the norm for me, basically.
And I only asked that because I saw, all people gonna always say. A lot of people say that you being silent about the issue is kind of like you can't ignore it. It's kind of like you're contributing to the issue if you're being silent about it.
I wouldn't.
But to me, I would say you being cordial with me and treating me like the normal human being, treat me like you would yourself or your race.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing.
That speaks volumes for me.
To me, one thing that never lies to you is body language. You like, if you're visibly uncomfortable around me, I know there's something there. So we don't need to be, around each other and interact. It's when they were here last night, it was the same. You see what I'm saying? So I just, it wasn't weird. It was just, at this point, it's just a situation with some internally with me and, the people that I'm around mostly. Like, man, like, can we actually coexist? I mean, the people that I knew, that are white, I never had a problem with it. But like you said, if people are not vocal about what's going on, and then when the silence it tells you something. And I never fell into that, and I don't want to do that now. But I mean, when you're not saying something, what are you saying when you're not saying it? You know what I mean?
And to your question, who I wouldn't. It don't matter to me. We can be normal. We can talk, but like, I wouldn't mind somebody wanting to come up and have a conversation, because I know it's a lot of people who may not understand why. And maybe that, to me, that would be a sign that these people really just trying to finally understand maybe what's going on or what's been happening. And I think too, if somebody comes to you genuine like that, I think we kind of have a responsibility. I mean, you don't have to. I can't say responsibility. It depends on how you feel about it. But, that could be a bridge that we could start to help kind of get each other to understand one another better. You know what I mean? And maybe that helps them take that back to their grandkids or whoever and explain, well, I was talking to my neighbor and this is what he said. And I never really thought about it like that. So you never know what kind of insight that you might be able to deliver to those people that'll help give them an understanding of what it is where you come from. Because like I say all the time, I don't think that all of the people are racist. I don't think that all of those people are clueless. I just think that sometimes they have never experienced the things that we're experiencing. Their whole life has always been suited to benefit for them. So they may not even understand what you mean about privilege or biases or things that we have to experience that they may not get. So sometimes it's good for us to show that.
And it's a conversation I wouldn't mind having either, because I would also like to see how I would respond. Because it's a conversation I've never had with a white person or any other race either. So I also want to see how I will react, how I would express myself to see if I'm getting through to them, see if they understand. So it's definitely a conversation I wouldn't mind having and actually want to have just to test my ability to see where I am and how I would handle that situation.
I slightly disagree with that because, going back to your question about neighbors, I don't really have neighbors, but predominantly when I'm outside jogging or going somewhere, it's whites. Mm-hmm. So I think I started noticing after the guy was murdered jogging. And when I was jogging, like, they went out their way. You got a lot more look directly at you. Hey, how you doing? Smiling, asking, hey, how's your day? Or stuff like that. So I think, they see it. It's on the news. So it's a good gesture. Now, what I don't really disagree with is, y'all know I go to a lot of bars downtown. Might be by myself having a drink. The next every one of y'all to pull up at different times. It's draining to constantly have that conversation, even before this, because that's their one time. Oh, shit, let me go talk to a black person. Not like they don't run into them. But you at a bar, you get to talking, race might come up. So that might be their one time. Oh, okay, we having a cool little conversation. Let me ask. That's their one time. But when you have to constantly do it, like, damn, I kind of just wanted to have a drink today. I ain't want to break down.
Right. And I get it when you've done it numerous times. You know what I'm saying? So I get it and I understand that. But then that's a new person. That's a new conversation.
That's never had that conversation. I look at it too, like, it's crazy to tie it this way, but going back to that Jordan doc, Jordan said going into that arena, he knew that it was people that never seen him play, and they're there to see him play. I know it's a difference, man. I get it. So please, people, don't bother me about that shit. But I'm just saying, like, in his mind, this person has never seen me. So let me give them what they need. This person may not have had that conversation. You might be the only person that they bump into that may be able to give them that understanding. And let's just say you don't, which is, it's your prerogative not to have that conversation. I'm not knocking you for that. It is draining. But let's say that person go to have that conversation and you don't have it, or you shun it, or have a bias towards even having that conversation. Maybe that was the conversation they might have needed.
And maybe that makes them think what they was thinking the entire time. Yeah, it's true what I was thinking the whole time. He won't talk to me about it or try to change it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep thinking what I've been thinking.
Yeah,
well, let me ask you this too.
When you gotta prove that it is good black people.
It's exhausting.
It's 2020, man.
That's what I said. That's why I said
across land and you grown.
But maybe they're not trying to understand that it's good black people. Maybe they trying to just understand, like, what if they ask you, like, well, what is your experience? Like, what happens? X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they understand that it's good people. Maybe they just trying to see your perspective.
Now, I did have a friend at work. She was white, and she would just ask about anything like race related. And she would just plain out ask, like, hey, I don't understand this. Why are people mad about this? And then that was a little, because we was cool, we was friends. I was a little, they ain't really like the Dove commercial because they're saying the lighter you are, closer you are to white, then the better. And she's like, oh, I get it. All right, I see how that commercial was fucked up. Mm-hmm. So, but it's just hard when you have to do it to like all the people, and then like especially a stranger.
All right, so I wanted to ask you this question, B. I know you said, you have a conversation with, somebody of Caucasian descent, and, what if your ideals and beliefs don't align? Then what happens? Because our biggest issue amongst, I don't even say races, I'm just going to say with people, is that if we don't agree on something, then I hate you. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So I know that's not how we think, like us in this circle, but I'm just saying, people outside of this circle, like say a white person that you don't have a relationship with or don't know, and you have that conversation, that hard conversation, and they just don't see it your way.
For me, marriage has taught me a lot. And I say that because you said if you have a conversation with somebody and your ideas don't match up, or your ideas on a certain situation don't match up, what do? Treat it like marriage, nigga. You talk about it. You try to figure it out. You try to come to some common ground. If you disagree, it's okay to disagree. Because like within your marriage, you're gonna have a lot of talks and conversations and discussions that you agree to disagree on. But that don't mean you blow up the world over it. You move past it. You find a way to find some type of common ground, and you move forward. Most importantly, man. But you got to try to see, even though you don't agree with it, you got to try to see that other person's side of it. Like, why do you think this way? Ask questions. Why do you think this way? Well, I think this way about it. You know what I'm saying? As long as you can explain yourself to your fullest ability, and that person can do the same, then to me that's all it is, man. It's just another conversation for me at that point. You get it or you don't. You agree or you don't. And it's okay.
Some things you're gonna realize that they're never gonna get it. So what's the purpose of having this long ass conversation? we ain't got to 1. We're still back at 0.
Right. So, nigga, marriage will train you how to deal with a lot of shit. Like for real, fool. Like because a lot of times you're gonna have a long lot of conversations
about a bunch of nothing.
Right. And it could sometimes like nigga, we all know sometimes those conversations could last a week. And that's just really a conversation I'm having with a white person at a bar. That's cool compared to some conversations I have to have at home. You know, which is it's a good thing though. Like it's mentally. Go ahead.
But 9 times out of 10, that's why I'm at the bar.
So that's why you don't want to have that conversation. Like, not again.
Yeah.
Just talk for 3 hours. We seen, man, you know, since we already here, man, you know, how protests all across America have erupted. All for George Floyd, rightfully so. George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis, Minnesota on Monday, man.
Minneapolis.
Yeah, that's what I said, then.
Minneapolis.
I don't care how I pronounced it. Yeah, they know what I'm talking about. But he was killed, man, unjustly, wrongfully. It was hard to watch. I mean, at this point, we've seen so many different things transpire because of the internet, people dying and losing their life, man. But this one it was hard, man. We watched the man lay on the ground for almost 10 minutes. And in it, I was pleading. When I watched it the first time, I was pleading like he handcuffed. He got his hands behind his back. It's 3 more officers. What are y'all doing? Like, why he ain't in the car already? Like, why y'all, I just couldn't. There's questions that I still don't have answers to. Why you just still got your knee on the back of this man's neck, just sitting there with your hands in your pocket like this just some cool shit to do? Like, I was getting irate about it. Like, the fuck is you doing? And he was taking, even when the ambulance pulled up, and the way they just rolled him over and still got him handcuffed and threw him on a stretcher. Something was sick about that shit.
That's why I can't watch that shit.
It was just inhumane, man, to watch people get treated like that, man. Watch a black man. That could have been one of us easily. The man pleading with you. He telling you he can't breathe. We watched the man say, holler his grown ass man asking for his mama, man.
Yeah.
And nothing he said, nothing he did, let those cops humanize him for just a second. Just a second. Maybe he can't breathe. Let me move my knee. I already got him down. And now we see protests, man, as a result. And a lot of them are scared now because they can't get the protests to stop. They keep talking about the looting and the rioting, which is, we can look at it however we want. But a lot of it is just pure frustration. A lot of it is just anger. A lot of it is, I don't know what else to do, because we do it peacefully by taking a knee on the football field. You tell us that's not the right way to do. We wear a T-shirt. You tell LeBron James and people like that, shut up and dribble. What else do you want people to do if you don't give them any outlet to be able to voice their opinion or voice how they feel about something? And then when it erupt into something like this, now you want to chastise those people and talk bad and evil about them. I wouldn't necessarily say a riot is necessary or any of that, but I'm also understanding that anger. And I see that anger and I feel that anger. And I know everybody here feels that because we've talked about it. Where y'all at, man? I know what y'all feel, but I want to hear y'all talk about, where y'all at with seeing that video and y'all thoughts on the protesting and everything that's going on now in the country.
I don't really want to start it off. I do want to say something real quick because I'll forget it. And you said you about the protest. You don't know if it's the right way or if it should happen. And I was on that same side. I was always wondering, I don't know if not necessarily protest, but rioting and breaking shit and tearing shit up would necessarily help the situation. I'm not going to be the one to do those things, but I'm at that point where I fucking get it. And because I sent the message, what's the lady name? I sent the message to the group message yesterday. The young lady, she was making a speech, and she was like, "It's not just about that, man. We were." And the biggest thing to me is, man, we were peaceful. You crucified Kaepernick.
Yeah. But I guess my only point about the rioting, and I'll let you come back, Kinky, right? My only point about the rioting is I understand the frustration. I know where anger is there.
I get it.
I just don't understand the strategy in some of it simply because I've seen multiple black businesses get hit. And I'm sure they did. Just imagine our anger right now. We're upset too. We want to go tell up some shit and do some shit and rally, but like, damn, I come to my business and my shit burnt down to the ground. Nigga, I'm mad with you. What the fuck going on?
Unfortunately, though, does that come with it? Because like when you're at that point of you're just angry, you're not thinking about who you're hurting. Unfortunately,
yeah, I don't want to.
Really, like me, like you're smart enough and cognizant enough to know that that's not what I'm going to do. And if I do go hurt some shit, it's going to be Target, not.
And I get it, but I don't even want to stay there and dive on that too long because again, I understand why they're doing it, and I'm not mad at why they're doing it and what they're doing. I'm just saying some of the businesses that have been hit are people that's mad just like us. That's all I was saying. What you about to say, Joe?
I mean, I rarely look at those videos. The guy jogging, I didn't look at that one. But this one was one that you kind of have to look at.
You looked at it?
To explain. Yeah, I looked at it, y'all.
It's hard for me.
But to see that, I think it was like he was on his neck for like 7 minutes.
Close to 9 minutes.
8.5.
Like 3 and some change or something as him being unresponsive. And then I just can't wait to this trial to when he say he felt threatened. Like, we've all felt like, you ever been somewhere and you don't know if it's a safe place or not, or you might have to, fight your way out of it or something. Your hands is not going to be chilling in your pocket. If your hands in your pocket, you feel so safe. Like there is no threat. And to see the other video, the first part of the footage, when they had him handcuffed.
In the car.
Right? They had him handcuffed already.
Yeah, when he was sitting on the wall.
Right.
Yeah, on he just sat down and chilled.
And I waited a couple of days and I had to call Gio, a cop, and we were all talking to Gio. He pro cop, because he is one. But he was like, nah, nothing about that right.
Right.
He was like, I don't even understand why he was even on the ground. He was like, nothing about that is right. He was like, all of them need to go to jail. Even, like, I was upset, like, bruh, like the little Chinese guy. I mean, are you racist too, or is it just that cop shit did it? Like, why you couldn't see that? Why you couldn't come pick the dude up? All right,
he looked like he more sort of follow the leader type, and basically that the guy with the knee in the guy's neck was the leader.
He was just
right. That's why I was asking Gio. I asked Gio that. I was like, man, was Buddy like the sergeant or something? Like, man, it don't matter. Like that that shouldn't matter at all.
It's just like if I see y'all doing something and I think y'all going to, hey man, chill out.
That's
chill
crazy,
out.
yeah. Like,
hey man, chill out, man. You gonna hurt that man? Like, chill out. Like nobody.
It ain't no beef. Hey man, all right, that's enough. Chill out.
Nobody
about
did
anything.
It. Nobody did it.
For me, man, it's just tough, and I still haven't watched the videos. But of course, I make sure I read things and look at things and get details about it. And from the details that I've had, and I hate how the media try to depict it at times. Well, look at this angle. They're showing him in the back seat fighting with the cops. Well, he's in handcuffs. He can't be doing too much in the backseat fighting with the cops. I hate when they try to depict it that way to try and find a way out. And that's where my mind goes when I see those type of things of them finding that video and putting it out there. They're trying to find a way to get this cop off, basically, where that's not what needs to happen. He needs to go and sit his ass in jail for as long as anybody else.
People yelling at you, like, stop. Like, even when, like, stop.
He can't breathe.
Like, stop, even, and he stopped talking. But as far as the rider, how you choose to protest is up to you. It's no right, wrong. Well,
it's how you grieve. It's like you can't tell a person how to grieve.
But I'm with Stock, and for personal reasons, man, people worked hard for this stuff. Like Target, everybody gonna get paid. All this stuff gonna get bagged. Like you gonna bring in another company to put everything back up. People worked hard for their stuff. And for you just to come and just, because what is that doing?
Another thing makes you question it is we see shit where there's actually cops out here rioting and looting and setting shit on fire. And that makes you think that maybe it was them that set that place on fire.
Now, I did see in a lot of different cities where everybody, like a lot of people, even some of the reports that they were arresting outside agitators, like people not even from that state. Mm-hmm. So that's something to think about. And I saw in Minnesota where they was like, man, these people you ain't from around here. Like, who is this person? Like, where you from? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I go by what I'm seeing in the videos, and a lot of people are confused at who some of these people are.
Fool, that shit just confuses you on the entire process. Fool. When you start to see cops and just people out there breaking windows, starting fires, starting unrest, like why?
One thing I will say, like I started just by saying, there's no wrong or right way to protest. We in Birmingham or surrounding areas, and this come out Monday. Y'all don't go to Galleria and follow Buddy. I only want to say his name. But
I'm glad the ones that they've had so far has been peaceful. The one in Hoover, the one downtown, they've been peaceful, man. And that's fine and that's perfectly okay. Then you look at the other side of it and be like, does that achieve anything as well?
I just have a problem with it. All right,
me personally, I prefer peaceful. But then you always look at history and you say, does peaceful protest really change anything?
It does.
Listen, man, it does. Like if you stop the bus boycott, let's go there. Nobody got hurt but black people, and they still got shit done. You see what I'm saying? So it was peaceful. So if you look at it from a standpoint of, well, let me start by saying this because I never got a chance to address it. I couldn't, like, when watching that video when that man hollering for his mama, a grown ass man of that stature hollering for his moms.
This is my first time hearing that part of it.
Is like
you gotta watch it.
It's cringing.
I feel you, but
I can't.
Like, I understand what you're saying. I didn't want to watch it. It took me a while to watch it too. But when I finally did, and I cut it off at that point, I'm like, man, I can't watch this shit no more. Like, this man is clearly saying, man, you're killing me. You know what I'm saying? He's hollering for his moms, bro. Like, that's insane. Like, he's telling you he can't breathe. The people behind you are telling you, man, you're killing him. And you just sitting there leisurely with your.
In the video, it was about 3-4 people. They like, man, the man nose bleeding. Man, he can't breathe, man. Get off his neck, man. Come on, let him up, man. Like, come on, man. Y'all got to do all that. Like, they telling this man that the whole time.
And that's the part that had me furious, fool.
And he just had his hands in his pocket, all casual, just looking like he ain't doing shit.
Dealing like that, and then he wasn't even looking at people.
Right.
Like he ain't. It seemed like he didn't even hear those people talking to him. And then for that fat fuck to just be protecting him like that,
and that's
it's gonna get to a point the next time this happens, somebody's like gonna actually do something.
It probably will.
It probably will shoot you.
It probably will, and it's already happening because I've seen a lot of videos of people actually fighting the cops, who like brawling with the cops. So I've seen it, but I also have another, not a gripe issue, but just a question of what do you do is you see these things happening, and a lot of people have a problem with people filming and standing there watching. But what do you do? Because I attack and I get shot. What happens? It's hard.
It sounds good to hear them like, "Oh, I'd have ran up there," but
no, the fuck you.
They have a gun.
Right. They got a gun. Ain't nobody finna do that shit. That's stupid. You're playing with your own life. People say what they would have done if they put in that situation, but they. I just hate
demonizing. I hate demonizing the people who are vilifying the people who recorded it, because we won't be talking about it perhaps if they didn't record it. They played a role, and I get it. Like, I get it. Hindsight. Our emotions make them say, man, why you didn't try nothing? Why you didn't do nothing? Like, there was 2, 3, 4 other cops that was just standing there ready to slam them too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That was making sure that whatever was going on back there could finish going on. And that's why that same motherfucker standing on guard, take his ass right there with him. Like, don't just arrest the one cop. Go get all of them, because again, if y'all got in the car with me and y'all rolled with me and I rolled over here to go see somebody that I was beefing with and I shot at them and killed them, all y'all going to jail right with me.
No doubt.
Easy. It's accessories to that shit. So that's the same thing. And I just hate that when it's police officers sometimes. And I'm not one that vilifies all police officers. I think there's a lot of good police officers. We know some. But when you see people where there's 4 police officers, 5, 6 police officers, and one of them is able to just sit there and take a life and nobody says something, it does kind of say like, hey, we're all like this. And I'm not saying that to the ones that are good, because we know some. And I have seen numerous police officers talk about how this wasn't right. We just saw it, to share some I want to say good light. I don't know if that's the right word, but we saw the whole police department in Flint, Michigan, said, hey man, we not here to stop y'all from protesting. We with y'all. We here. That shit there that happened in that video was bullshit. And we're going to walk with y'all. And the sergeant walked with them. He made all of his officers put the batons and their weapons down. Let these people protest. That's all he said. We just here.
And with that, of course, we're not against the good cops, but he wasn't that. This guy here wasn't that. This guy has had numerous complaints. He's shot numerous people. He's killed people
17,
man.
17 fucking complaints.
So when we're speaking of the good cops, he's not one we're talking about. And it's simple for me, man. It's simple. Unfortunately, even if you are a good cop, if you do some shit which you're not supposed to be doing, you need to suffer the same fate as we would, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for you. I'm all on your side. But it's not okay for you to kill somebody, even mistake.
And to your point, Todd, too. To your point, Todd, when you was talking about boycotts and protests, and you brought up Montgomery, that's what I meant by strategic protest. Yeah. That was a strategy. And that strategy worked because it was making the metro system lose money. It was really affecting their pockets. Now the first initial reaction is always going to be emotional. But I don't know if people had a chance to see Killer Mike's speech. I think he gave a really dope speech. I don't know how many people right now are going to hear and receive that speech simply because right now they're in their emotional state of it. But his speech was, to me, the long-term effect. What do we do here in our city? He was talking about his city, but you could do the same thing in your city. What do we do in the future to get ahead of this, to make sure that there's not a police officer that gets to have 17 complaints before he do some dumb shit and hurt somebody? No, we need to stop the motherfucker when he get 1, 2, and 3 complaints. Let him get out of there.
Rules and laws need to change, man.
Yeah, and so
he need to be behind him.
He was saying build a review board that includes the community that has power in that review board, not just somebody that just sit there and talk. So he was coming up with things that I think people may not be wanting to hear right now just because they're still emotional, and rightfully so. But he's bringing up things that we can try to do going forward to be able to kind of get ahead of some of this stupid shit.
He's the perfect person to say that. And I think he has the right ears to hear it as well, because we've been hearing that although Bernie has dropped out of the presidential race, he's still in talks with Biden to be some part of the administration. And of course, we know that Killer Mike and Bernie are real close. Yep. So he has the right ears and the right ideas to look forward towards.
Yeah. Man. Go ahead.
It's like you said, it needs to be. You have to affect the money. That's when true change comes.
What was that with T.I. was talking? A lot of people posted it, but there's
I got it.
What's that?
Yeah, I got it on the list. T.I.
I'll contribute to it.
T.I. Speaking of Killer Mike, Atlanta, T.I. is calling for black people to not spend money on a blackout day. He picked July 7th for Blackout Day 2020, basically saying that black people should not spend any money whatsoever on this particular day. I think it's a good idea. I think somebody had asked me why so long from now, and I one of the things that I said was it's good to go ahead and plan it out, because a lot of the times when we seen that shit try to work, they try to do it tomorrow or the next day, and in order for it to be effective, you do need to plan it out and strategize it, so people can say, you know what, I'm gonna call out that day, so I don't even have to go out to buy no gas, or because if you go out the door, you're gonna spend some money somewhere. So I think that was it's a good idea for what he's trying to do. We'll see how it goes. So everybody, July the 7th, T.I. calling for a national day, blackout day, where we do not spend $1.
Well, I mean, I wish you'd have did it on Courtney's birthday. But,
nigga, you'd have had to buy that gift beforehand.
No, man, that is Tamika's birthday, so shit, you already know.
Well, you better do it before then.
Better buy my gift on the first.
And it was dope too, because he called for blacks, Native Americans, Hispanics, anybody who with it, white, whoever. But he was saying how together that's $3.9 trillion of economic spending power
in one day.
But also, I mean, we probably be a lot more closer to fully open then too, so that makes more sense. To do it now, you're not affecting bars, you're not affecting a lot of places that aren't fully back open. You're not affecting Disney World and stuff like that. But if you do it on the 7th, when all these places will be open, then that's more of a change. But
makes sense.
I don't know how they could, but one of the best ideas I've seen people say is start affecting these cops' pension. Because they have great pensions and with a lot of money in it. If you start telling these cops, hey, because of this, when you retire, your check gonna be a little bit lighter because we had to pay these lawsuits. I think that'll change people's mind too. I don't care if they're doing it for the right or wrong reasons, as long as it changes.
Yeah, and they say to do that, you got to break the barriers of the union, and that's what's powerful. The police union is the hard part to get it. That's what keeps it all protected. But I know I brought up Flint Police Department, but I also want to bring up the sergeant in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He had a press conference and he told all of his officers directly. He told them, if you are okay with what you saw in the video of George Floyd, turn your badge in today. Good. I don't want nobody in this police department who thinks that that's okay, who thinks that that's the proper way to do it. He said, I want your badge on my table today if you think that was okay. And I just find it, I know we're trying to pivot, but I just find it that I looked at a lot of different people. And I know a lot of people saying, for whites, if you're not with us, then that's not okay if you're not saying and speaking out. But I will say I saw a lot of people that I know personally. I went on one of my old coaches' pages, and we see it all the time. He's pro-conservative, all of the little different stuff that you normally see him say, talk, and do. He's always with the shits with that. But I will say on his page, he said this is pure murder and it's wrong. And he had 80 comments or so of different people, of different white folks, basically saying the same thing, that this was murder, this was wrong, this is some bullshit, da-da-da. And he had one person try to say something kind of like that was like super kind of like racist into. I want to say she said some shit like, I'm gonna go, I'm tired of hearing about this store. I'm gonna go to
it's new.
I'm gonna go to Target. I'm gonna go raid Target and Walmart to show my memorial to George Floyd. And everybody tore her ass up on there. All white people tore her ass up. So I thought that was good, because I do see where they're being more pointed at talking, opening dialogue, and basically coming out and condemning what we see. To me, this just feels different. I don't know if it's gonna be different. We're gonna wait to see. But I will say this feels a lot different than some of the others. But so far, I'm not excited or taking my foot off the gas yet, because we know how this can go.
That is right.
So far it has been different. So like I can't think of a time where I've seen somebody get arrested so quickly. Maybe it still was too late. And you kind of get it. You understand that for those cops, they're going to delay the entire process. But I've never seen one that's been arrested so quickly. Also has been just bashed by numerous cops and numerous mayors and numerous The president,
law enforcement.
You know what I'm saying? The law enforcement. Just once everybody's putting you out there like that, bro, it's gonna be tough for you to move forward and move past this. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey, but
I think it's different, and I want to see it different. But also, we thought that I think we personally thought that with Botham John it was going to be different until we saw things starting to unfold and come out.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm gonna wait to see if it's really different. You're right. The way they spoke about it and came out is totally different. But I'm still waiting to see the results first. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. But all in all, man, it's been tough, man, and ultimately we need to just pray for all peoples, man. And that's what I've been doing a lot, man. Praying for all peoples, man. But I didn't want to end this segment without just giving a man his flowers, as people sort of say. Just shout him out, man. Just he lived a hell of a life, man. He was a renaissance man. He did a lot of different things that a lot of people would have wanted to do, man. And just ultimately, man, get that man his praise and his due for the things that he did and he accomplished while he was here. We see, man, he touched a lot of people. He was friends with a lot of people. He was close to a lot of people. And a lot of big people had good things. Everybody had good things to say about him, man. They called him the gentle giant. You know what I'm saying? I was reading that about him in high school. He just was a gentle giant. He played football. He was a rapper at one time. He was in the entertainment business. He was in the club business, man. The man did a lot of things, man. He was still just trying to find his way. But ultimately, during all of that, he did it as a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? He had his troubles, but he got through those troubles. And at the time of his death, man, he was doing nothing that was troublesome. So that's the ultimate thing we should look at him, man. Just give that man his praise and his glory of the things he did and accomplished while he was here.
Well said.
Well said.
Well said. Look at who.
You know what I'm saying?
Well said.
But also, man, I know you say you wanted to say something, man, but I want to transition off of this, but still keep it close to this because I know we forgot to talk about this while we were in it. Mental state of black men, man. Have people been asking y'all how you doing as a black man?
My mama asked me today. She was like, "Are you okay? I was just checking on you." And then, she just weird. So I text back like, "Yep."
That's it.
This nigga. Yep. She probably over there. I think something going on with him. He just said, "Yeah."
Yeah. You know they be
So a call came soon after.
Yep. I bet it did. Because when you just say, "Yep," oh yeah, he's something. Come on, let's go. We got to pack our bags, go check on him.
Right. I'll rearrange my question, man. You as a black man, y'all as black men, man, how are y'all doing, man? Like mentally, man, how y'all feeling? How y'all upholding, man?
I was telling somebody the other day, man. At this, I don't really know how I be feeling. Like, it's hard to say in my little bubble, in my world, I feel great. But then it's hard to even say that to when you look at what's going on around you, because I don't feel great because I see, what happened with all of these different instances. And I can't help but think, and we've said this 3-4 weeks in a row on this podcast, that some of this shit all of this shit could easily have been one of us.
Right.
Every one of these stores, you can easily insert one of us right there, and that's us. Who do you jog? I go in and out of houses. We all go to sleep at night, no knock warrant. You know what I'm saying? Like, my man, they say Floyd wrote a forged check, so they say. I don't know the truth.
A counterfeit $10 bill. I wouldn't know what the fuck it looked like.
So
like for real, I wouldn't have a clue. If I had a counterfeit 10 or 20, I wouldn't have had a clue that it was counterfeit.
I've had one before and just looked at it randomly and was like, oh shit. It wasn't like I made it, just exchanging money, change back.
I've never in my life examined my money. Never.
Yeah, so just to say how I feel, like it, I really don't know. You know what I mean? It's the one time I couldn't, even when we was coming to talk about the pod, I didn't really know how I was gonna come out, what we was gonna say, because I'm in a weird space when it comes to this shit. Because, I think a lot of the time we just be waiting to see if somebody's gonna finally get punished the right way for their wrongdoings. You know what I'm saying? And
that's what I want to see.
And that's now I'm just kind of in a sense of confusion and just waiting to see what's gonna happen. That's me.
For me, I'll just circle back later on with it as far as because I kind of penned something. I just kind of type my feelings out. You know what I'm saying about it. But like I said, it's a range. Like initially, rage, pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Watching the video, rage again. Then you kind of sit back and think of your teachings and what you read in like books that we've all potentially read as like the book As a Man Thinketh. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to react just off of your emotions. So you just kind of sit back and just watch what's going on, because sometimes sitting back, honestly, it'll give you the perfect view of things. So as of right now, it's a roller coaster for me. Like at this very moment, like I said yesterday when we went down there and we did the thing with my family, it was cool. The instant we left, we back here. You see what I'm saying? Like this is still happening. So it's almost like you have an escape, but then you circle back around and it's still happening. So as long as it's in your face, you can't get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? So I try to detach, but you can't get rid of it.
For me, fool, it happened Monday, I want to say. I don't want to get the date wrong, but I think me and Stock had talked about it a little bit yesterday. It was the 25th, which I think was Monday. And up until yesterday, I was kind of numb to it. Like, fool, it didn't really eat me up. But then something happened yesterday, fool. That shit just broke me all the way down, like internally. So, you know, just trying to adjust to it and come around to it and take, just understand the full situation.
Kind of like who said, you do almost have to be numb to it, because if you get mad at everything you should, a normal person that's a non-black man can get mad over, you'll look crazy out here. Because I mean, not something this extreme, but we go through stuff daily and just gotta just brush it off. For the longest, shit, we was looked at as adults since we've been 12, 13 for real, especially by the police and teachers and everybody else. So you would really just look like you out of your mind if you get mad over what anybody else would get mad over. Go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But I mean, so you do kind of have to be numb to it, and it takes a minute to sit in. But I'm at the point, okay, the arrest was cool, it was quick, cool. But yeah, what's gonna happen? Like I said, I want to see the trial. I want to see. But then when you say, I know what you're saying, sit back and just not react. But they took this man, like he couldn't do that. They're like, no praying or no, like he couldn't control his situation by doing nothing wrong.
And I don't want to. I have to mention this, but I know we somehow going to probably double back to this. The entire podcast is going to go back to it. It was like, that was something that really resonated to me and made me fully understand everything that's going on with people riding and looting and things like that. They're like, man, you can rebuild Target. Target coming back. That man's life is never coming back.
Right.
And Target even issued a statement. Like they like shit. Nigga, we can replace the stuff that they came in and took. You know what I'm saying? These three people, and they mentioned the girl Brianna, Ahmad, and George.
And that's
they mentioned that.
And that's what I was gonna say, because if you think about it, I think too, another thing to like how I feel is also it's still a sense, and this is not new to this time for us, but it's still a sense of anxiety in a sense, because I hate to say it, but we said it after we saw what happened with Ahmaud Arbery. We said it after we saw, what happened with Trayvon. We see it over and over again.
Tired of saying it.
Unfortunately, it's probably gonna happen again. And that's the sad reality of how it is. Somebody's gonna get scared of how I look, or mishandle me, or mistreat me because of how I look, or because they're scared of me, and they're gonna do some stupid shit to one of us, and potentially hurt one of us or kill one of us just because of our looks.
I just don't think it should have been third degree. I don't.
It's okay, man.
First degree.
I fully agree. No, he walks out first degree. You have to improve.
You have to be able to charge them by that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like if you charge them for first degree and they can say, "Hey, he didn't premeditate this. He didn't think about or intentionally try to do it," then he get off, and then we mad because he got off because they overcharged.
And like it's like no more than the sentence carries like no more than 20, 25 years, something like that. I'm perfectly okay with that because I know them 25 years for him gonna be hard.
Man, 25 in jail as a cop that did
for him,
that.
You gotta be
for him, nigga, for him, 5 years gonna be hard. For him, 5 years.
Hey man, we have to stop asking for stuff like that. That's not He's not going to gym pop. And first degree, they could never charge. All he would have to say is, I didn't mean to kill him. He's off.
Man, let's get out of here.
And yeah, let's get out. Let's get out. But ultimately, man, rest in peace, man.
I mean, it's not that. It's just let's get out of here, guys.
Yeah, it's been an hour, man. And
let's get out of here.
We've been sad and emotional, man. Let's look at this picture and crack some fucking jokes.
R.I.P. to George Floyd, man.
Yeah, most of
question. Man, y'all ever when y'all was a little kid, man, y'all ever was taking a shower, doing some shit like that, and you got some soap in your shit?
Oh yeah,
burn like a motherfucker.
In a little hole? Oh yeah.
It don't matter what kind of soap you use.
I saw somebody talking. They were saying how they didn't know that happened. That they didn't know that was a thing. I was like, shit.
All that means,
gas coming out that thing.
All that means, nigga. All that means is you didn't jack off in the shower and use soap, nigga. That's all that means. If you jacked off in the shower and used soap,
nigga, this shit happened. I think this shit happened before I was goddamn beating a dog. I think this shit just happened when I was like 10. When I first discovered that shit.
Hold up, you wasn't beating a dog at 10?
No, I'm saying when you said it mean you weren't jacking your dog in the shower, nigga. I think that shit just happened just off of fucking a miracle or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I was just taking a shower.
I was just taking a shower over there. Me too.
I would look at who probably, you know what he doing in the shower. That shit happened to him yesterday, goddamn.
Big Jack, nigga, mama. I didn't realize it was a problem until my mama asked me, "Why you been in the bath so long?" Shit, you don't want to know, mama.
Nigga, so long. Fuck wrong with you? That should take me 25 seconds. You nigga don't have to be in that no
yeah.
You gotta find the right scene on the porno.
Like now, yeah, but back then when you jacking that dog every night,
nigga say back then, that nigga making love to his hand. Fuck wrong with you? Who?
That nigga was slow rolling.
that nigga was slow stroking his shit.
Low,
big soap all over the place.
That nigga so crazy. Over 2 minutes, you a sick individual, dog.
My hand had modes, nigga. Slow, medium, speed it up, nigga. Go.
I got a transmission on this shit, fool.
But man, it's like anything, man. When you crushing every single day, you gonna go longer, nigga. I was jacking that dog every day.
Beer still cold. That shit could be every outing, goddamn it. Music.
You got out of there quick. What you sad about? What you having about? Wayne?
Wayne dropped the deluxe album.
Why did y'all listen to that?
It's Wayne, man.
Because it's Wayne. But can't get right. I'm gonna be honest with you. Wayne dropped this deluxe album, and I'm just gonna go on and say it. I fought, I pleaded, I argued with Can't Get Right. I did everything I could do. But that was a bunch of bullshit that Wayne gave us. That shit was so motherfucking. I know Wayne don't listen to other people's music, but he just needs to take 2 months and just listen to all the new shit. He need to call Drake and just he ain't gotta write it for you. Just let Drake just be in there with you or something. You know what I mean? Like Wayne, man, like the rap part he got, but the just song making and the song picking and the beat picking. I just be wanting so much more out of Wayne, man, in music. And I don't know why I still be wanting it, but it was hard. It was horrible.
I've come to learn that original music Wayne isn't the best, but stealing other people's beats and flows and tempos, Wayne's still pretty good at it.
Yeah, but you know why? Because it was what I said. All he got to do is rap. He can still rap. It's just he can't pick a beat. He can't make a hook that's worth a fuck. He can't really make a song no more, man. Like I just.
You heard the song "Him and Lil Baby," and I think I'm proving your point. I think because it sounds like
somebody on that Baby album.
I think on the Baby when Baby was on his radio show and that song they play. I think it's on Baby's Deluxe.
It's on Baby.
Yeah, it's on Baby.
Because then he kind of you saw the tempo and you saw he still has it, but I'm super perfectly fine with Wayne being a radio host, man. I think that man can make more money being a radio host.
That might be his new
rapper right now because I listened to his show yesterday, man. That man had Fauci on there. He had Dr. Dre on there. He had who the fuck else? He had a few people on there, and I think he's better at that.
I understand all of that, But Wayne wasn't supposed to. This is not. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all can't make me believe that this is what Wayne's supposed to be, man. Like Can't Get Right said on this podcast. Can't Get Right said something on the podcast before. He said you never see the legends or the goats be coaches. That nigga is not the nigga. When you go to doing radio stations and shit, you're not like nigga. You're not gonna see Jay-Z go.
But he's a good. But he's a good coach. You gotta admit. He has Drake. He has Nicki. He now has this radio station, which he's doing good at. So, no, you don't normally see them be good coaches. But if he's being a good coach,
all I'm just saying is this ain't what I wanted from Wayne. I wanted better for him.
I'm perfectly okay. I don't know if that's necessarily better at this point.
It was like when you realize like nobody's real. Superman,
Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy. It hurt me.
Question. So right now, do you think that Jay-Z's a better businessman or a better rapper?
That don't.
It's not a correlation because he's still doing both of them at a high level.
Right, because that 444 album was one of the top albums for him.
Okay, so don't do that and do what I asked you. Answer the question, please. You think he's a better businessman or a better rapper?
A businessman.
Okay, so I think that Wayne's still a good rapper, but if he's better at let me explain. If he's still a good rapper, but if he's a better coach at coaching Nicki and coaching Drake and better at radio, then why not?
Is he still coaching them like that? Because them people got their own situations.
The way he speaks to him and talk about him, I think he still has
input. But what I'm saying is, man, come on, man, let's not run from this. He can be a great radio host and businessman and all of that shit. But Wayne was one of the best rappers we saw for a lot of years, and he is not that right now.
He's not.
And he's still putting out music. He just put out a deluxe album, which is what we talking about, and that shit was trash. We just got to call it what it was.
I won't say better rapper. I won't say he's not the better song maker. But rapping-wise, like we just said, he's pretty good. But song making,
his rapping is good. But part of rapping, who do you got to make a song? You got to put a hook on that motherfucker. You got to get the right beat. Nigga, if he would have done this his whole career, we wouldn't even be thinking about Wayne, right? We wouldn't even be talking about him right now.
I agree.
All right, so
I agree.
He can be really good at this, and I'm not gonna. Even when you use Jay-Z is great at business, but he's also great at making music.
Some people argue that. I won't.
Who gonna argue that on the 444?
People argue, not just 444, but just multiple.
That was his last body of work.
They say his last few bodies of work wasn't the best of work. We've heard that.
You can say not the best. Okay, you might like his earlier stuff better. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's still good quality. Wayne is putting out dumpster juice.
It was bad.
I didn't even listen to it. I didn't listen to it.
You know why?
It's bad, bro. I can't. This is like new to me. Like not
right.
Chewy,
Man, y'all know how hard it is for me to say something Wayne did was bad.
I'm perfectly okay with Wayne. I'm perfectly okay. I get it how you feel, and I get that. And I'm perfectly super okay with Wayne is where he is at this point because he's been in this game for 3 decades and he's prospered for 3 decades. And if this man come in this game and get some Joe Rogan money at doing that, hey man.
Nobody's knocking that. But if you put out an album, if you put out music, that means I get to critique the music. And my critique is the shit was trash. That's my critique. And I hate to say it. But it was
what y'all think of that problem though?
Huh?
What y'all think of that problem?
Problem cool. I like it. Problem pretty cool.
That was pretty dope. I liked it.
I listened to the first 3 songs.
It's pretty smooth.
Freddie Gibbs.
About 3 more to go.
He's not that typical.
Can we finish problem on yet, Todd? Shit.
No, I'm saying I was saying that one, and then we're gonna go to Freddie Gibbs. That's what I meant. But
that's what I'm
saying. Well, he was saying he meant to say, "Can you finish Wayne first before you go?"
Well, yeah, he cut Wayne off. Went the problem. Podcast over, goddamn. Done in a week.
I mean, honestly, you pretty much slaughtered it, so I ain't think you were gonna murder it too much more.
I would honestly say, man, I'm not mad at all at Wayne's music because I'm more happier with his transition at this point. I'm happier with his transition because I feel like we are getting a part of Wayne that we never got before. Like you didn't hear this man talking and expressing himself.
I understand.
So I'd rather see that than him rap right now, me personally.
Right, but since he put out something rapping, then we get to talk about it. That's all I'm saying. And it was bad.
That's cool. That's just a money grab. That's cool.
I mean, when Wayne first did the radio show, we talked about that. He put out music.
If the radio station was trash, you would have said it was trash, but it was good, right? Hey. You gave a critique of it, and your critique was it was good.
And that's fine, man. I'm not arguing your point. I'm just saying how
you asked Hootie about the music. That nigga said, but what about his radio show?
No, well,
the album didn't come out that was bad.
Stock kind of made it seem like he's just disappointed with Wayne. So I had
his album. We're talking
about a rapper. He's the best rapper.
This story wasn't about the radio station. The story was about the deluxe album that he put out Friday.
I get that,
my
man.
critique was of the deluxe album.
I get that, but you also have to understand that when you come off, sometimes you just how you sound comes off as if Wayne is just horrible right now. Or the way it came off is like that.
Did anybody else think that I was just destroying Wayne as a person, or was I destroying the album?
You destroyed the album. You killed the album. Like
and those responses sound like you're killing Wayne.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
As soon as you brought up the radio station, I said, "Yo, yeah, that shit dope." I agree with that.
But the album shit.
Yeah. What you don't want to do is you keep trying to skip over the album. I said this great radio.
Nope. Because I said that. So don't say that. I agreed that the album was so.
Man, what about that problem, man? Where you at, Todd? You want to keep talking about the show again? We had moved on the problem. He went back to Wayne again.
I think actually we on Freddie Gibbs now. Todd leads the show.
You're gonna give me credit for that.
Let's go. Let's keep smoking the ball rolling.
Hey man, hard in the goddamn court, goddammit. What the fuck he at?
There's a lot of talking
about problem of Freddie Gibbs, goddammit.
It's no problem, man.
Problem smooth, man. He's not the typical East Coast sounding rapper to me, and I actually like West Coast. My bad, West Coast. I'm all fucked up right now. Quarantine got me fucked up. But it was pretty smooth, man. He didn't sound like that typical. What's the guy name? Shit. I ain't gonna say no names because I don't want no fights like King here, right? But to me, he's not the typical West Coast sounding rap. To me, he's more on a Nipsey type smooth rapping wise of what it was. And I found a few songs on there that I really like. So
yeah, it was dope. I liked it. I fucked with it hard.
Joe, you said you listened to how many?
About 3.
You like it so far?
It was cool. I'm gonna go back.
Good.
Cool. I guess we're on Freddie Gibbs.
Right. Y'all listen to Gibbs? Gangsta Gibbs?
You thought I was listening to that?
Was it just a song or was it a whole body of work?
It was a whole body of work.
All I listened to was Alfredo.
It's pretty cool. It's solid.
Is that a song or is that the album?
That's the name of the album.
Is it a song on that called Alfredo?
No, that's the name of the album.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck I listened to. I listened to one song.
The first song, 1985. He got a song on that bitch with Ross called Scotty Beam. That shit go hard.
I'm gonna go check it out, but I always had a hard time getting in the old Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah.
It's
what he put out.
He had a cool flow. You know what I'm saying? He have a cool flow to me.
Yeah, he got a cool flow.
It was that tempo I didn't like, but I'm not knocking him or saying that his music is bad. I just was never really a big fan. And I tried to go listen to the last album, and I couldn't really get into it. But I'll give this a listen since y'all saying it's dope.
He one of the people I'm a fan of, but I don't particularly his music not for me. And if he on an interview or something like that, I watch the interview. But yeah, his music just not really fun.
I don't know if y'all saw this, but it was a rapper in Philly. I don't know his name. He opened up a childcare center at 25, making him one of the youngest black daycare owners in the city of Philadelphia. So I want to give a huge shout out to him. I think it was Real the Papa or some shit. The Papa is his name, I think. He's I guess a popular local artist. I just thought it was a dope ass story that, you see a lot of chains and cars and shit, but here this man is on the come up and he decided to, diversify his music and make, and build a daycare. So I thought that was pretty dope.
The Papa. Not calling you the Papa.
Man, what happened to Young Guns? They had a hell of a song. And then just
niggas been gone only for 20 years.
Philadelphia kids, I don't know how I put all that together.
Neef Buck, they still put out music though. Young Chris and Neef Buck, they still put out music.
I'll check them out.
SoundCloud.
No, it'd be on Apple Music. It'd be okay, but it's still like they are who they are. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas been through a whole lot of shit since the Young Guns too, though.
For real.
When they was Young Guns, they was in high school, but they've been through a whole lot, like jail and murder type shit. So,
Shit.
yeah, like it's a lot of shit.
All they got to do is put out a radio station, and we won't talk about the music.
If it's good, it better be good.
We talked about Wayne, anyone good?
Not the radio station.
Who I got a study for you?
Study, nigga.
They said that they found that the hands on the knee posture resulted in superior heart rate and greater tidal volume, which is the amount of air inhaled into the lungs with each breath compared to when you put your hands on your head. Now, for those who don't know, anybody who's ever played sports or athletics, when you are doing conditioning drills and stuff, the first thing you ever do when you get tired is put your hands on your knee. I always thought that was the most comfortable shit in the world, but you always had that coach that say it's more air when you put your hands above your head. I never found that shit ever to be the case. Yeah. They always said it. It never would. Like, we had to run more sometimes when you put your hands on your knees, only to come out and find out years later that is the best posture to get the most out your lungs. Did you see that story?
Yeah, man, that shit, it only makes sense, man, because your body is going to naturally do what feels better when you're in a certain situation. Like, nigga, if you tired, your body's going to naturally, like, man, nigga, I'm not thinking hands on my knees, I'm going to feel better.
I never understood that shit, because when they put your hands on, like, I've tried to do, okay, let me put my hands on my head, and that shit just never felt comfortable. I always felt like doing that shit.
Like, I was breathing even harder. Like, nigga, I'm wheezing. Nigga, I'm wheezing. Fuck, you got me wheezing for?
That shit hurt.
Can I sue, nigga? Y'all done took some breaths off my life. Can I sue y'all, nigga? You wait.
Coaches be stupid. It's a learned behavior. Somebody in 1930 said that was the thing to do, and they coached them to do it that way. But yeah, that shit made so much sense.
This is true.
Should also laying on the damn ground feels great.
And that was their number one saying, ain't no air down there, nigga. That's a lie. It's earth, nigga.
Shit crazy. I swear to God, I've said that a million and one time during conditioning.
As a coach, would you be against that though? What you mean?
Like I'm saying, I've said it in the past, and I think
right now, hands off your knees.
Yeah, it's more of the doing conditioning, but like I think all coaches that you ever played for should give you some up downs behind that shit. Because I mean, my nigga, you've been lied to the whole time. You've been lied to.
Make them niggas do some up downs.
I'm saying, nigga, do some up downs behind that shit. You put your hands on your motherfucker.
So, when you get done, nigga, go your ass in the backyard.
No, ain't doing no up down.
Up down, hands on your head.
You know up down.
This shit don't never work.
You know up down.
In more sports, I want to give a huge shout out, man, to the New Orleans Saints quarterback, Jameis Winston, and his Dream Forever Foundation. His foundation has donated over $380,000 in charities in need. Basically since January, man. I don't know if I've been seeing a lot of articles and a lot of things that Jameis is doing. He had a rough offseason just because, not knowing what was going on with Tampa and where he was going to go and things. But that has not stopped what he's been doing in the community and for the city. And I want to make sure that, man, we highlight that, man, because, a lot of times we do talk about what people are doing on the field. And I thought, personally, that he had a dope season. You know what I'm saying? A good season. A little turnovers, but, I mean, that's part of the game. But the stats speak for themselves. And we saw the comparison with him and Peyton kind of having a similar season at one point. But what he's been doing off the field, man, is what I'm impressed by, man, and it's dope. Making sure that him and his foundation are giving back to the community, giving back to the city. You don't always get to see that. A lot of times headlines want to talk about the bad stuff or find ways to paint shit negative. And in the times that we're in right now, I want to make sure that I gave a huge shout out to Jameis Winston, man.
Shout out to Jameis and all he do, man. Through all that man's been through, you always see him positive. As far as because Barron, like our homeboy Barron, shoots a lot of his videos and a lot of things. Just a lot of the things in his responses to a lot of situations is always positive. I don't think I've ever seen that man speak negative, like ever, fool. Like through everything he's been through, I don't think I've ever seen him say anything negative or bad. So he's always been positive. Even through his trials and tribulations, he's always did good things for his community and where he's come from. He's always came back here and always came back to Bestman and always did things for the youth and for the neighborhood in general. So.
And even in his statement, he was quoted as saying, being a professional athlete, I believe it's one of my responsibilities to use my platform to make a positive impact. And especially during these unprecedented times, it's crucial that we help our neighbors who are in need. So I thought, again, that's just, to me, all dope news, man.
Right.
And like you said, every time you see him, it's a positive vibe. It's a smile on his face. It's an excitement. Look like he up to whatever challenge is presented to him. So,
motivational speaking, like he was on when Tampa was on the HBO show.
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks, man. That man will wake up every single morning, going to work, working hard, doing what he had to take. But unfortunately, he had too many turnovers. When you look at things outside of those turnovers, man, the man had some yards that a lot of quarterbacks never had in their life. Touchdowns a lot of quarterbacks never had in their life. And we talk about that a lot. Like, is it his shit always gets back to this? Is it his skin tone that holds him back from his
But he I mean, he very uplifting, never try to bring anyone down, no matter what they're saying about him. He's not a like crab in the bucket type person.
Crab in the bucket type person? You talking about the crabs he stole? I could tell by the goofy laugh on your this nigga here, man. That's not me saying that. That's can't get right joke. I was just putting it out there for you.
I think my man wise beyond his years, man.
Thank you for the lob. The dump.
There ain't no lob, no do. I just confirming the point. Confirm the point.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out. I thought he just stopped talking and started to laugh. I was like, what's going on?
You got to know something coming with that, man.
Yeah, that ain't that crazy, man. But yeah, he's definitely wise beyond his years. To be able to, not feed into negative energy, like when David Carr, whoever, his older brother, whoever was talking stuff about how he was training on Twitter, like how he just, like, look, man, if you don't got nothing positive to say, just don't even come with it. So, I mean, but he's definitely wise, as a youngster. And we say youngster because he's not our age, but that's crazy because I don't think we're
like 26,
right.
26, 27?
Yeah.
I watched that in high school. Yeah, when we was good in college, when he was in high school.
Right.
Big shouts out, man, to Naomi Osaka. Is that how you pronounce it? Osaka. She's officially the highest paid athlete ever at age 22. She made history by passing her icon, Serena Williams, as the highest paid female athlete ever. She racked in a whopping $37 million in earnings over the past year, more than any other female athlete in history.
Hey.
That's super dope, man. She's 22, nigga, and made the most in a year than any female. That's super dope.
Yeah, super dope.
And
she's super good.
Yeah, she's super good. Yeah.
Like Serena shot it all big time, and that's dope, and that shows the path that they're going on. Serena opened those doors, and we have women like this following behind it and breaking through those doors. So that's super dope.
Young Coco coming too.
She's like 16. Yeah, man.
16. She coming. She got a long
the future of tennis is bright, man. And
she's gonna break that record. She's gonna break that record. So
shouts out to her on that one. Did y'all see DeAndre Hopkins? He basically made some headlines this week that said he knows that he's the best. He said he knows that I'm the best. Talking about Michael Thomas of the Saints.
Right.
He said if he had Drew Brees his whole career, his numbers would be way more than him and Julio as well.
Right.
Basically saying that Julio had Matt Ryan his whole career. Did y'all see that? What's y'all thoughts on it? What it is that he said, and what y'all looking at?
Boy, got a point.
Not mad. He got a point. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him making a statement. But ultimately, I still would take Julio because Julio is just a different type of beast, man. But he's second to me. He's second, and then Michael Thomas maybe third. I would have to go and review all receivers just to be sure. Like Michael Thomas has been super impressive the last couple of years. But when you look at just pure talent, man, Hopkins a different kind. Hopkins and Julio different type of animal.
I be thinking Odell is a different kind of person.
He is.
If he never really he had a not so great Eli on the downslide. And now he got Baker who all over the place. But if he was with a Drew Brees or somebody like that, what would his numbers look like?
But I mean, I get him saying that because Michael Thomas has the numbers, but he doesn't jump off the screen to you. Like you never say, "Ooh, look at that!" You know what I'm saying? He gonna put as long as he in the right spot, Brees gonna be there. Now he a top tier wide receiver. Don't get me wrong. he ain't. I wouldn't say he was top 5.
Michael Thomas looked like every prime receiver.
Top 3.
Michael Thomas looked like every prime receiver Drew Brees have.
Right.
Yeah. I just think it's just that it's Drew Brees, it's that offense. It's a number of things. He is good, don't get me wrong, but if you put him in Houston, I think he's very average. Me personally, compared to DeAndre Hopkins.
With Deshaun right now?
Yeah. Like, man,
that's who there, right?
Like, I looked at it like, yeah, Deshaun's there, but I looked at the plays that fucking DeAndre Hopkins made, man. That man had people draped all over him, fool, and quadruple covered. Like, you can't quadruple cover nobody in a New Orleans offense, but it's nobody else to guard in Houston. It's nobody else to guard in Houston, fool. You guard him and him and him, and that man still was making amazing plays, fool.
Yeah, he definitely a baller. I like Hopkins. He's a real good player.
And I hate when we have these conversations. It makes it sound like we're bashing the other guy, which we're not, because we said that.
He did say that in the interview, though. I saw that stuff. He was like, they talk offense, so it's not a beef or anything like that. He was just saying, like,
good.
They had
Let's start
beef. And nothing wrong with that.
Right. Let's start beef. Who you got? Step or AI? Who's the better player? Chris Broussard came out this week and said that Step is a better player than Allen Iverson. What y'all got?
I would have to
be quiet, niggas.
I would have to agree. Even though I don't want to agree with him, I would have to agree.
I don't want to. I'm with you. I don't want to agree because Iverson just changed our lives and the way he played the game and what he did for the game changed lives. But Steph won championships. He won MVPs. He did it the right way. He's a sharer. I don't know, man. Something about that nice guy mentality. I don't know.
And then
we had a way better team than AI could ever dream to have.
This is very true.
He did, but when he first got there, he made that team a better team.
No, he was part of making that team better. I give him that.
Golden State was the fucking pits.
Yeah. So, and then you added Clay, and then you added Draymond.
Right.
But I guess what I'm saying is they added pieces, man. Somebody had this argument with me about AI, and I had them look it up. Nobody even averaged in double figures. Over with AI. I think it was like Snow, and that was like 9.8 or something on the whole season.
Aaron McKee.
I get it, and I'm sorry, but all of that plays a factor. Like you winning those rings and winning those MVPs and all of that, I get it, but you got to make some type of, you got to differentiate it somehow.
And then if you just look at athletic ability, like we act like just because Steph shoot all them threes, like his handle game not crazy.
Mm-hmm. See, you're gonna lose me when you go athletic ability.
Yeah, I ain't gonna go athletic. Because
he's not more athletic.
No.
Athletically, Iverson's crossing you up, and you ain't seeing stuff.
Athletically, Iverson is faster and crossover is better. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like Steph ain't no slouch at
we're not saying that at all.
At handling the ball.
But if you just
his handles is crazy, but Iverson could never shoot as good as Steph.
No,
even though he was a great shooter for about 1 year.
Steph is the best shooter we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. That's the one thing you can't go to the.
My heart is AI. That's what I want to go with. But Steph is a better player. He can do a little bit more. But AI, man, if I had to pick, I'm picking AI. I'm sorry. Like if I had to pick a team to start tomorrow, I'm gonna pick AI. I down that here.
AI in Golden State, he gets more rings than Steph. With the same,
I don't know if he'll get more, but I think he will get them.
He'll definitely get them.
With KD and the team. You're right.
He don't have to do as much. In Philly, he literally had to do everything. He probably led in every statistical category in Philly.
But could Iverson play on a team like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? I want to say he did an interview that said that they always said that I couldn't play with nobody. I never had where did they get that idea from? I had to do that. I had to score 45 and 50 some points because you had Aaron McKee who was going to score 9.2 points.
And I definitely think he'll have 2 or 3 rings with Golden State Warriors with that offense that they're running because his off the ball running.
Well, but also, I mean, he was a bit older. We're probably about the same age Steph is now. When he had Carmelo, and they ain't doing anything.
But then again, it's Carmelo. You know what I'm saying? He playing off of another superstar at that point, a young superstar that they demanded.
I don't think you can make that. You can't make that argument and say that he could have played with Durant and Clay. That's going against your argument.
Yeah.
I didn't say he couldn't.
What I'm saying, you say he played with Carmelo, which is playing off another superstar, which means it kind of wasn't good for Iverson. Is what it sounds like, at least.
But what I'm saying if I said that he could play in Golden State and would have won 3 rings. But in Denver, when he was in Denver, that actually happened. You saw what happened. Carmelo was shooting all the ball. You saw that. So
do you think he can go to? Do you think he can go to Golden? So do you think he can go to Golden? Hold on. Do you think he can go to Golden State and play with KD, who's shooting all the balls? Because word was KD was not playing within the offense, but it's hard to say that he can go there and do that with KD when you say he couldn't do that with Carmelo.
Yes, because one, Steph and all them other guys who demand the ball as well, they did it. They actually won. So you put AI in there and say you remove Steph.
But
he's
Steph
still going to do the same thing.
But Steph is not Iverson. Steph isn't going to be like, nigga, you better get the fucking ball.
The way that system is set up, the way that system is set up, man, everybody who's a scorer is going to score the ball. That's just period. Draymond, he does what he does by rebounding and actually bringing the ball up and setting the offense up for Clay, maybe Iverson if he's on that team, or Durant. Then you got a big man on there just as a fifth man to rebound or defend. That's their offense. So yeah, he would definitely succeed, get a ring in that offense. Denver, he did.
I agree. I agree with you, and I do think that Iverson would win rings in that Golden State offense. But I do think you made an argument against your argument, because I do think that in Denver that it was a scorer's offense and it was a spread the ball type offense. So I do think it wasn't the exact same, but it was similar in my opinion.
They had George Karl was the coach.
Yeah, who's a scoring offense, who's ultimately just a scoring offense.
And that team had some talent and did nothing.
You make it sound like you hating on Iverson.
No, I always love Iverson.
But keep running into the Spurs. That's why I said let's start some beef.
Yeah.
But I always say Iverson impact meant more than what he actually accomplished. In basketball.
They dropped a list about the I don't know if I put it in the group. It probably one of them times I had put 15 things on. Let me just hold it. I'm doing a little bit too much. But they had the top most influential players. It was Jordan, Kobe, Bron, and Steph. And I got outraged that they didn't have AI on that shit. Like, how can you not have AI as most influential?
I mean, you made a dress code because of AI. If you leave him off the list.
As influential?
Mm-hmm.
I would arguably put him over Kobe.
Well, I say that because it's tough, because I think right now, today's entire NBA is Steph. And youth, middle school.
The style of the game, the style of the game is Steph. But the way that the game looked, and to be able to look yourself and be able to all that stylish dressing, the tattoos, that's all AI.
But do you think that those people who's figuring out that list consider that or Steph's game?
They may have been just talking about the game of basketball potentially.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. Huh?
Just who had influence? AI single-handedly brought like the rap hip-hop era to basketball like that. The way it looks, how it looks now, that was all AI. That shit was stuff. Y'all seen Jordan in them big-ass goddamn hammer pants.
That nigga still with them hoes.
I think y'all seen that shit, man. AI his influence.
And I get it. And I just don't think that those people who picked that list was thinking that. I think they was thinking more so strictly the game.
Well, let them know they should have thought about that, because that was part of it. And part of the game too. Because he played a real flashy style game.
Beef with the
hesitation, the crossover. No, AI brought all that to the league.
I feel you, cuz. Hey, man, and speaking of sports, we probably getting sports back real soon. A lot of sports are starting. Hockey's set a date. Soccer's set a date. The NBA is meeting Thursday to see if they're going to set a date. They're looking at late July.
Yeah, I saw baseball was real far. They say baseball fall apart right now.
They split. They don't know if they want to come back without fans or come back with fans. But I look at it like, what's the difference? A lot of times I saw baseball games with 6 niggas in the stands.
That's what I was just about to say. It only get fun watching that shit in the playoffs. And
I say get it back, man. No fans. At least get it back. Unfortunately, everybody's taking a loss. The sports world is going to take a loss. You just get it started at this point, man.
Did you see when Damon Lillard said then if they don't have a real shot at the playoffs, then he don't want to come back and play.
Yeah, and they say they're going to start it with like 22 to 24 teams, so that means they have a shot at the playoffs. So,
some need to have them quick though, because my nigga, I'm telling you, we turn on TV.
It's only 30 teams in the NBA.
Right, I'm like 22 to 24 teams. 20 to 22. My bad. Owners are largely planning to pledge support for Silver's final recommendation on a plan, which teams expect to include invitations for 20 to 22 teams to resume the season, and they're looking at around July, mid to late July.
Yeah,
they need to do something. Because I'm telling you, that Peloton shit they showed on ESPN, I don't want to see that. That bicycle shit.
Why do you keep turning on ESPN?
Man,
Peloton, nigga. I don't know last time.
Like something new gonna be like going in the refrigerator when you know ain't no food in it.
I was in the barbershop when that shit came on, like, and they had it on, and I was like, man, turn this fresh, like, get this off the screen, like that. They literally showing, like, you know, them little stationary bikes that you have in your house. They showing that shit on ESPN.
I turned the actual TV on for the first time last night in 2 weeks, and I was happy for what I saw because I turned it on and he mentioned it, went to my little playlist or DVR, and Bill Maher was on there. So Bill Maher's back because I know he took a week off. But that's really the only thing I go on there to watch is Bill Maher.
That might have been the last like actual TV I watched that wasn't on like a streaming service. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm with you on that. But yeah, I'm not turning on ESPN, man. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I go to Twitter for all my sports news. I don't need ESPN right now. For real, Twitter, Instagram.
I didn't even watch the Lance whatchamacallit.
I didn't watch that either. Bike ride.
No, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care if you cheated or not. You was riding a bike. Whoop de doo.
Lance Rose. They stock Lance Rose open back up.
Yep. Yeah, they opened up on the 15th or something, 18th of May. They've been back. Okay. Moving on into the dummy of the week.
You dumb son bitch, you.
Dummy.
I got 3 of these motherfuckers, and all of them dumb. Y'all gonna see it. The mayor of Mississippi. Mayor of Mississippi. Whatever the little fucking
mayor in Mississippi.
I learned that too.
Mayor in Mississippi.
Oh hell.
Yeah.
Oh, you old dough neck, hog dog neck.
This nigga said if you say that you can't breathe, you're actually breathing. He defends the officer involved in the George Floyd case. I don't know what fucking city it was, but he thought that if you could say Hal Marks, that's his name. Y'all go look him up in Petal, Mississippi.
Hal.
Mississippi is the city in the state. It's just Mississippi. Everything is Mississippi.
Yeah, like nah, don't do them like that. I fuck with them. But nah, they but basically,
Well,
I mean, y'all stop doing that shit. That shit just like Alabama. Y'all you motherfuckers country at the end of the day. But
Birmingham.
Hey man, fuck y'all.
Mississippi don't have a Birmingham.
Man, let's get the Hal, man. What Hal do, bro?
I'd say what Hal did. Fuck y'all. Well, let me find another dummy since y'all don't want to fuck with Hal.
I don't want to fuck with Hal, man. Hal was.
Hey y'all, can kids be dummies?
No, man.
No, man.
I mean, that's
my kids' parents.
Man, fuck that. Stop playing. Hal, man, said some dumbass shit, man. The man said that because he said that he wasn't breathing, the man said that if you were able to say, I can't breathe, that means he was breathing and that the officer did nothing wrong. Did y'all see that dumbass shit?
Yeah, I saw
Hal. Hal big ass look like he can't breathe.
Turkey,
I don't mean to go paint get right here. But his big ass look like he can't breathe. He should sympathize for people who can't breathe, man. Nigga crazy.
And his fat ass probably can't even get on the knee, so he wouldn't have been worried. And George could have walked away from his fat ass. So he'd been
Squidward looking.
Talking about Mississippi, like I said, most of the South is all the same. Louisiana cop was fired for saying it was unfortunate that more black people didn't get killed by coronavirus.
Louisiana has been a dummy for like the last 3-4 weeks, man. We tripping.
What get your people?
We tripping.
Chief of police in Kaplan, about 87 miles southwest of Baton Rouge, said Officer Stephen Costin or something.
Kaplan? I ain't never heard that shit.
Yeah, Kaplan, Kaplan. But basically, he was fired. He said that it was unfortunate that more black people didn't die from COVID-19.
We're gonna read in about a week or two that he got it.
Right. This shit ain't real, nigga.
It was a high school student who attended graduation after in Decatur, actually, Alabama, by Huntsville, after his family member tested positive for COVID. He still went, and then he tested positive.
Damn.
So is that on the? Well, I mean, of course, it's on the parents, but if somebody in your family tested for COVID, you shouldn't go. And then I think he got tested like on Monday, and with the graduation like on Thursday before he got the results. So I thought that was the dumbest shit in the world for them.
I don't blame him for that, man, because he a kid, man. These kids just trying to get out.
No, I don't blame him. I'm talking about his parents.
I blame the parents. I would blame the parents for that who oversaw it. It seemed like we had a lot of dummies this week, fool. I want to give some honorary dummies to some fucked up, stupid ass dummies, man. There's a lot of people. Like,
I had one more.
I know you did, and it ain't even funny, fool. Like, they got people out here portraying people kneeing on people necks and shit, man. Y'all niggas dumb.
Yeah, I seen that. Fucking
y'all
idiot.
trash for that shit, man. Like, dumb fucks.
Yeah, that shit was trash. I seen a couple of those pictures. What's her name? The white lady who Amy Cooper.
Wheelchair bitch?
Huh?
The wheelchair bitch? Or
no, Amy Cooper decided that it was a bright idea to call the police on a black man who asked her in a park that you're supposed to have your dog on a leash. He asked her to please put your dog on a leash. She decided to pick up her phone and call the police to tell them. First of all, she told him what she was about to do, that she was about to call the police and say that a black man is threatening me. And not only did she turn around and tell him that, she made good on that promise by calling 911 and saying that there was a black guy in a park threatening her. This special dummy, I look at her a lot different simply because what did she end up wanting to happen to him? Because what would have happened had the police came and the altercation would have transpired between him and
the same thing that possibly happened to a lot of us that shouldn't have.
Right. That's the thing is, she knew she can't. That's why she said those trigger words: African American male. She kept saying it because she knew that would cause a reaction.
It's time for them to become trigger words.
Yeah. Yes. I'm gonna start calling. Hey, it's a white woman near me.
I'm scared.
I'm scared.
She lying.
And look, hey, let me tell everyone that maybe don't know black people like that or whatever. If you see a black man in a park bird watching, 10 times out of 10, he's no threat to you.
Actual birds like pigeons and shit.
Because that's why they wanted the dog on the leashes, because the dogs be running the birds away. That man was worried about watching birds. He don't cause a threat to no one.
And then did you see how that the motherfucker was holding the dog? The dog, a little tongue was hanging all out like he could barely.
Glad they took the dog from her.
She was the only danger in that whole video to the dog.
So for that, all three of you special for, because Hootie brought up, well, a lot, whoever are you doing that shit. For that, all of you motherfuckers are getting the dummy of the week.
Yep, you dumb
ass, stupid.
Dummies for everybody.
I'm sorry to say it, man. Y'all cool with me, but white people, stop being the dummies of the week, man. Y'all the reigning dummies for a long ass fucking time, man. Come on, man. It's time for y'all to turn the corner.
Yeah. Equal opportunity. Y'all ease up.
The dummies love y'all, man. The dummies love y'all. We want y'all to do right. We want y'all to be right, man. But y'all just keep giving us reason to give y'all the fucking dummy.
Other than that, any other stores or things that we missed, man, for the week?
Absolutely. My nephew, rest up DJ. I went to Mobile on Friday to attend his graduation. They gave his dad his diploma. He was set to graduate from high school this year. Real, I can't say sad. It's, again, one of those mixed emotion type deals. He mustered up the energy and the strength to walk across that stage for his son. You know, from here to heaven, DJ, congratulations, man. You made everybody around you proud and continue to shine. How you been doing so far? So, you know, that's one of my things that I had. And like I said, I did kind of pin some of my emotions based off what was going on, but I'll let y'all get y'all stuff out before we just end with that, I guess.
Shouts out to the Taj for that, man. Congratulations.
I know that was hard. Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. Any other thing we missed, man? Anything you got? Who to normally have about 65 stores or whatever?
Nah, man. After that, I don't want to say nothing. I ain't even gonna look at you. That's it.
Can't get right.
No, I'm good.
Shouts out, man, to Rod, man, and his Topic out, man.
Oh,
That
yeah,
man still,
Topic.
yeah, Topic still booming. For those who never seen it, it's similar to like what Triller, ain't it? Not
Triller.
You can say TikTok even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those apps that you can do the latest dance craze to or whatever, and you can compare it to someone else who did it, and people vote on it. You know what I mean? So
Todd, if you go in there and dance, nigga, I dance. What's up?
Everybody go download Topic, man.
Download Topic
just to see these fools dance.
In the place of your TikTok at this point. So
nigga, let's
do that. Anybody challenge one of you dummies, nigga. We coming at it. Download Topic in your app store, man. Shouts out to Rod, man, on that one, on that big accomplishment, man. Keeping grinding. Right. He been at it for a minute, man. So shouts out to Rod on that one.
I do have what I should have brought it up earlier, but I didn't want to mix funny into how serious it was, and then another serious topic, but we kind of buffered it with the topic and dancing. Because there's been some funny moments throughout this. What was y'all like funny moment like that you saw? Like people, like black people, we gonna joke, we gonna laugh. But what was y'all funny moment? For me, it was the guy riding the car through Lennox Mall.
Nigga's crazy. For me, it was the sign of the lady said, when I was 11, on my next birthday, I turned 13.
I turned 13.
I like the one where them niggas had stole a little train that be in the they was riding down the street in the mall.
Nigga stole Thomas. Thomas the train got stole, goddamn.
For me, buddy, goddamn, called a nigga Lil Shield. That shit that was
funny. Little baby Shield, goddamn.
All in all, man, everybody be safe out there, man. Man, thoughts and prayers to all the people again who are affected by this, man. This week is crazy. All the people out there protesting, man. Make sure y'all do it safe. Be
smart,
careful,
safe,
smart. Yeah. Let's find strategic ways to affect change, man, and get change done. And on that note, we'll be back next week like we never left, because like we say every week, we never leave. You dig?
You dig. Don't go to the Galleria either.
Please don't hang with that.